Hey guys, it's Shira from Woodshop Diaries, and in this video we're going to be taking these wood slats and making this an accent wall. And no, just in case you're wondering, I'm not going to be installing these horizontally or vertically. For this accent wall, I'm going to be doing things a little different. So I hope it turns out well. I hope you guys will enjoy following along to see, and if you're ready to dive in and get building, let's go. This video was sponsored by my friends at Arauco. First, let's talk about this wall. A while back, I painted this room white, and while I love bright white walls, I do admit that they can tend to be a little boring sometimes. This wall was literally so boring that my camera had a hard time focusing. I had to walk in front of it for it to even register anything. So I wanted to do some sort of accent wall here, something simple and modern, but also unique. And that didn't cover the entire wall, mostly just because I didn't want to have to deal with redoing the baseboards or the outlets. I think I came up with a fun solution, but before I start putting it together, I want to show you what I used to create this design. Arauco is a leading manufacturer of composite panels, premium plywood, millwork, lumber, and wood pulp. One of their newest products are these Shiplap boards with a slat profile. The board edges are designed to lap over each other for easy installation, just like regular shiplap, but it's got a modern profile. In addition to providing quality products, Arauco is passionate about sustainable forestry all over the globe. They're the first forest products company to be third-party certified as carbon neutral. And they produce many of their products from their own certified sustainably managed forests or from recycled or recovered materials. They offer these slatted shiplap boards in a pre-primed finish, perfect for paint projects, but also as an unfinished pine so that you can stain or seal them however you'd like. You can find Arauco plywood, trim, and lumber products available at the Home Depot and other local distributors. Check out all they have to offer and find a local distributor on their website, arauco.com. Now, let's get to work. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do here is find the wall studs. I have a magnetic stud finder here. So I'm gonna find and mark the wall studs kind of like towards the middle of the wall. I found all the wall studs across the width of this wall and used a level to mark each one vertically. Now I'm only going to be installing these boards in the middle of the wall, so I kept my marks in this area so that I didn't have to worry about removing marks later that weren't covered by the slats. Once I marked my studs, I also found and marked the center of the wall. Note that this landed between two studs, which is totally fine. I started with the center of this design first and worked my way out. So I feel like this is going to make a little bit more sense once I start putting this on the wall, but I'm going to have to rip this lip off of this edge board and off of the other one that's going to come up the other side. So basically the two wood pieces that will make the kind of center of this design, because I'm going to have angled boards going down to meet them, I don't want them to meet on this lip. It's going to look weird. I want them to sit flush against this edge. To give some contrast, I used the unfinished pine slats for the center of the wall. So after I ripped the lipped edges off, I cut the ends 15 degrees. I cut my first slat for the left side of the wall so that it would hit just at the center that I had already marked. I placed the board so that the low end was about 24 inches off the ground. You can see that I used a 2-foot level here to help me. And then I used a brad nailer to secure this piece to the wall studs. Then I marked and cut the slat for the right side of the wall so that it would hit just at the center as well, and installed it the same way. Once these two pieces were up, I could cut triangle pieces to fit into each corner. One end is mitered 15 degrees, but the other end is mitered 60 degrees. Okay, so this piece is gonna go on the top. Now I need to cut one just like it to go on the bottom side. Okay, so the problem here is that neither one of these pieces really hits on a stud. This one kind of does right here, but this one does not. So, I'm going to creatively brad nail these together. If you knew you would never take these off the wall, you could use some construction adhesive, like liquid nails or whatever, and like stick these on here, but I don't want to damage the wall. So I'm just going to kind of tack these together and we'll make it work. Since these didn't cross two wall studs, I did my best to just kind of tack them into adjacent boards where I could. The next piece added will also help to hold these in place. The rest of the pieces will just kind of build onto this pattern, but for these, I decided to paint them first. I laid out some of these Arauco pre-primed slat boards and applied a few coats of black paint. I used a brush to brush the paint into the grooves, and then I came back with a roller to roll the top smooth. I love that these slats are smooth and primed already, so it cuts down on prep time. Once they were dry, I continued on with cutting the ends 15 degrees, marking, and then cutting these to fit. I installed 3 slat boards on the left side, one on top of the other. Notice how they overlap each other. And again, I just nailed these into the wall studs. Then I repeated to add 3 more on the right side, one underneath the other. By the way, feel free to get creative with your own accent wall design. I just kind of made this up and thought I would give it a shot. You can run your slats vertically, horizontally, at an angle, in a fun pattern, however you want. The interlocking edges really make this easy to install and keep spacing consistent, whatever design that you choose. Now all that's left is cutting and adding the angled pieces that kind of wrap these slats around at the center. I cut a 60-degree end on one of my painted slats, held it in place, and then marked where to cut the other end. Just like the centerpiece, these are all cut with one 60-degree mitered end and one 15-degree mitered end. The good thing about these pieces is that the 3 on the top should be the same size as the 3 on the bottom, so you don't have to cut each one to fit. Okay, so since I have the small inside piece already cut to fit, since these overlap each other on the lip, I can just lay the next board on top of it. Line up the ends right here. And then I know that I'll need to cut the next one right there. And that way I can just cut this one, it'll be a little bit longer, and then I'll just layer the next one on top till I have 3 pieces. And I'll need to do this twice, once for the top wraparound and then once for the bottom side wraparound. After I cut the first 3 pieces to fit together, I cut a second set just like it. Then I brought these back into the house to install. So far, this design is feeling pretty neat. Danny said it feels like a museum, but I think it feels more like the backdrop of a cool modern home gym, office, or living space. The final step here was filling in the nail holes and touching up the joints. I gave the joints a light sanding, then smoothed them out with some quick dry spackling. Once it was dry, I sanded it again lightly, then touched up the paint as needed. And with that, this modern and unique accent wall is complete, and I'm ready to turn this room into a very fun hangout spot. I'm actually slowly replacing the furniture in here, so it's obviously a little empty at the moment, but this accent wall is a great start to a new space. I hope you enjoyed watching it come together, and if you're looking at creating your own accent wall, be sure to check out Arauco trim boards, Shiplap, and Slat boards at the links in the description. Thanks so much for watching, friends, and until next time, happy building!